Hello, and welcome back to Rural Vermiculture. Um, just doing a standard check-in on the compost bin worms. Try to get everything centered up here. Trying a new camera for this. And it looks like we've got a bunch of sprouts. These look like quite possibly tomato sprouts. That's no big deal, just grab them up, pinch them, toss them back in there, the worms will eat them. Quite a bit. Okay. Let me get into the feeding area here and see what they've done. I'm seeing a cocoon and a nice little worm there right off the bat. It's a pretty nice sized cocoon. Yeah. Can't remember how deep I fed them, but it's looking like they've done a good job on eating their food. Quite a few little wisps in here. Wow. Seeing quite a few cocoons. That's a good sign. They're happy and they're breeding, laying more eggs or cocoons. I still just can't get over how whenever I was harvesting these worms out of the compost bin, I couldn't see any small worms at all. But now I'm finding worms of all different stages of maturity, from wisp to juvenile to adult, and then all the cocoons that have them there. Looks like they finished off all the peas and the onion. I ain't seeing the onion in here. Good little gobble worms. He's a nice one. Well, I think these worms appear to be happy in here. What do you think? Well, they finished off their peas and the onion that I put in here with them from a couple feedings ago. The last time I was in here, I believe I just fed them some watermelon and let them continue on with their previous feeding, and the rest of the banana peels from the very first feeding. As long as you don't let things get out ahead too far, you can keep your bin from going into an anaerobic state and souring and killing the worms and stinking up your house if you want them inside, which in my area it gets a bit cold out in the winter, and I don't want to put them outside. I could possibly put them in the crawl space, but that would be such a pain. But yeah, these worms look good and happy. Their bin is really moist and virgin on wet. It is virgin on wet, not virgin. Thinking about feeding them a tomato this time, but it looks like I may need to do something to get the moisture under control. So I think I want to throw in some dry bedding this time, because I also, for their feeding today, I have a whole tomato that had gone bad. So one of them perks of having a worm farm. Or any type of composting, really. Like if you got a compost pile, you don't have to have worms, but they're nice. They do a good job. Well, that's one of the perks of it. You don't have to actually waste food, depending on what you consider to be waste. In this situation, I'm not considering it a total loss, because my worms get to eat and they get to provide me with rich nutrient soil to fertilize my garden with in the season to come. So that don't look like much, but there's a decent amount of cardboard added that was bone dry, and also that was mixed in with some peat moss. So that peat moss, it'll keep hydrating for about 24 hours, and just be on the safe side, I want to throw in some more, because I really don't want to create an overly wet situation here. But it looks like they done good on their last feeding, so this time, like I said, I'm not going to give them pumpkin. This is a pretty decent sized tomato. It's about an 8-ounce tomato, and I'll let them go for about a week or so before I feed them anything else. Just creating them some access points here. The tomatoes already starting to rot, but sometimes the skin's a bit tough. So I'm going to cover that up real good. Or at least I hope. Jeez. It's actually pretty high in the bin. And I'm sure they're well tired of me by now, so I think I'll get on my newspaper or something for a top covering. That'll also help with the drying the bin out some. Okay. Yeah, I really wasn't expecting the bin to be that wet. That was a little surprise. Not too much of a surprise because it wasn't overly wet, but it was getting to that point. But I think that'll conclude this video. And I'm going to make a video very soon on things that you shouldn't feed your worms, and not just being overly precautious, but there are certain things that if you feed your worms out of your garden, you may not know it, but they could be toxic to them, and actually a natural dewormer for pets and wildlife. So I'll be doing a video on that very shortly. Be sure to check it out. Okay, if you like this video, please leave me a like and subscribe if you want to see more, and leave a comment if you feel like it. Okay, thanks for watching.